I am Geoffrey Villardwen in the Dyflin legendary campaign from Thrones of Britannia. Thanks for dropping in or for coming back. You may remember last time we were in the winter of 883. The winter has just finished.
Accept a truce to save your people more pain.
And Fjord want peace with us. There was one of the factions, the Viking Sea Factions, that we might want to potentially annex.
I will try not to take this person.
So I have not agreed to that peace. One of the other factions, North Leod, a faction in England, has been destroyed. The Valkyries chosen have lost 4 men. Sigfroder had a son, is named Roaldr. And if you remember, we were in this little village, Claymore. It's been occupied by a Fjord army. And because it was in fortified stance inside it, the army seemed very strong. The odds were against us, so we've called up some reinforcements.
We pledge your service.
Barder is in Fjord, that port town we have just conquered.
In Odin's name!
In Odin's day, the time has come for the attack. Holmkel is now disloyal. We don't have any more estates to distribute. Not sure why we have this disloyalty issue at the moment. Nothing much we can do. Unless we can do some other action. For example, we can marry one of these people. This is hit and miss, so most marriages decrease loyalty. Another thing to do is to secure loyalty, and this time a word from the king was all that was needed. No big deal, so now Holmkel is more loyal. And we can attack here, the enemy army. The odds are very favorable now. It seems that the first time you attack a fortified or any settlement with an army in it, that army has very favorable odds. But the second time, the odds are more realistic. The enemy army is destroyed. That was the enemy prince. So that was the Fjord or prince, and he was slain by our own heir, Sigfroder, the brother of our king. So that was a battle between princes, and we won. The Fjord prince Thornfinn has been slain. The Valkyries chosen have been triumphant. And Sigfroder has gained a follower. He has some very good stats if you check on the left. Minus 50% upkeep for all units and minus 10% recruitment cost for all units. These percentages may be decreased in the forthcoming patch. May have already been decreased when this video comes out. And we're going to give him a priest because that helps with issues of loyalty and disloyalty of the enemy population and so on. Because everyone wants to be a Christian. So if you have a Christian leader, everyone likes him, even the enemy. So, one thing to do is to send one of those generals back to Nass. Keep the other one hanging about here. So for the time being, we send Ivar, who's the elder son of our king, and Sigfroder will hang about here for the time being because he cannot move very far. And back to this general here, Finnkel. Unfortunately, the faction next to us, I forget, Ostraig or something, I think is their name, are besieging Fjord, which is one of the faction capitals we actually would have liked to take. It is a port. We need ports to win the short kingdom victory. So this is that faction, that annoying faction Osraig. They are besieging that settlement we also wanted to besiege. Very annoying. They've also taken a port. So they've taken 2 ports there. They've taken this other place, Call Mike Aeda, or Aeda. Kel Mike Aeda. Very annoying. Unfortunately, we cannot do very much at the moment. I'll check the situation later, see what we can do about them. It doesn't look like the enemy has any armies around here. They only have that army down there. Here's mid. These are all neutral factions. There's this other faction up here. None of these seem to be threatening us. They're all neutral. Even though it's legendary difficulty, it seems that neutral factions will not attack you so easily. And this Osraig general down there is still besieging. So annoying.
We will serve.
Ah, here's a mid-army in Cloyne MacNoise. And another smaller mid-army there. That's a little bit worrying, but it's no surprise that other factions have armies. So that was the spring of 884, moving over to the summer of 884. Protect our brethren. So we've gone for that. Either conquer them or protect them. So Irish long ports or long forts. So we have to control Dyflin, Weisafjord and Vedrafjord, also Korkach and Limerick, to gain influence and money. So that makes it twice as annoying that Osraig, that faction next to us, is attacking Vedrafjord. So back to mid. This is a neutral faction. They don't have armies around here. Let's see if we can do some diplomacy about here. I would really like to attack Osraig to prevent them from taking Vedrafjord. Let's see what mid will say. So mid are allied to Osraig. You can see on the right. They also have a defensive pact with one of the other factions. Declaration of friendship, intriguing. We'll give them some money. 300 gold, still intriguing. Let's make that offer. Let's see what happens. Okay, the counter offer to join the war against that Sea Viking faction. And they want 100 from us. I'd rather not get them involved. It's the opposite I want. I want them not to get involved, because now I want that coastal settlement. So I'll give them instead a little bit of money. Small gift, 250. Excessive, so they want the money. They've taken our money, so that hopefully will improve relations. I'm not sure what it will do for influence or tribute. Tribute is gone down to 31. I think it was like 34 before, so we lost some tribute there. That's a shame. And it looks like that faction next to us has actually, am I right? They've taken Vedrafjord, so they have 2 coastal settlements there, 2 harbors that we wanted. Okay, there's another faction up there to the north called Ulaid. Another one, Desmum. And then Ilek. Ilek are neutral and deteriorating. That's not so good. And Ulaid is clearly not very sympathetic towards us. Desmuma are neutral towards us but improving. Vedrafjord are very friendly and improving. I think they look like they've become vassals. They became vassals when that event came to whatever it was to control the Sea King factions. I suppose Vassafjord are not in that league because we're at war with them. So we have enough expedition points, 45, nearly 50, ready to send an expedition. We have 1,650 slaves. We can build some cattle pens at Antibiamor, so we go for that. Rognvald is the governor here. Practice makes perfect. Rognvald also has a Drill Master plus 10 melee skill for all units, I think it said. Okay, changed my mind about Antibiamor. Maybe we can build something somewhere else. Let's check. We can build those cattle pens at Naskairi, I think it said. Naskairi. Sorry for my terrible Irish accent.
Our foes shall fall.
Here's Liot on the Isle of Man. And we can get Sigtrygga married. We only found an ugly wife for him. 10 years older, -1 zeal, -20 chance of having children. What a useless wife. Okay, it's better than nothing, I suppose, so you can have my blessing. You can always divorce her. Liot has gained a follower. In this increasingly complex world, a Viking needs a scribe. But a forager is more Viking-like, and we need more food.
Our foes shall fall. Ready for combat!
And Ivar, who is now in Nass. Since Sigfroder can get various discounts on recruitment and upkeep, I'll send him to recruit an army at Dyflin. So, a Viking port at Dyflin is a good option.
We pledge your service.
Here's our King Barder in Vassafjord. The Fury of Tyr has come back from Wales. They were in Wales before. They've come back to their homelands to discover that their capital, Vassafjord, has been taken by that enemy army. And it looks like there's a truce now between us. I have the feeling, because we are allied now with Vedrafjord, they are our vassals. This faction next to us has been forced to make peace with them so they don't go to war with us. This kind of thing is very interesting. The way this faction next to us is behaving. So they have an army with 17 units there. That's a sizable force. Our king has 20 units with him. Some of them are somewhat depleted, they're still being retrained. Recruitment is very slow in these parts, possibly because we don't have a very high warfare, perhaps. Although it's gone up since that faction got united, since they were annexed or made vassals. So Ivar is now open-minded, that's a good trait. And that was the end of the autumn of 884 AD. Another faction of Fort Trier has been destroyed as we are moving into the winter of 884. We finished the construction of a logging camp and a troop organization tech. Northumbria is now at war with another faction, with West Mooring Gas. Also, as Fort Trier died out, logging camp has finished. Troop organization again, that's very nice. So let's go back to the technology scroll. Trained fighters is a potential upgrade. Armor defenders, higher tech trained spearmen, or maybe a civic technology. We don't have many opportunities for a civic technology except down here. Arenas research rate 115. That sounds like a good option. So troop organization has finished. That will give us a new building, the Arenas tech. A kind of troop training building. It sounds good. That's what Vikings need, a little bit of troop training.
Let's go.
And Sigfroder is now back at Dyflin, and there he can start recruiting units. And first, before he does that, he can get a new follower, or perhaps an upgrade on his quartermaster. No, he'll get a priest as well.
Hurry along.
And Ivar is going south to keep an eye on the situation there with Osraig in case they come our way. You can also reinforce Nas if need be. So let's recruit some units. Unfortunately, we cannot get any good units. It's just the usual things. The heaviest units are these medium axemen. So let's get some cavalry first. They're always useful. These mounted javeliners or scouts can get some of those medium axemen, some eastern marauders. These are light axemen. That's all we can get, it seems, at this point, these light units. Some long axes. They have absolutely no armor, these long axes. I'm trying to think where could they be used. So I got some light spearmen instead. I think one way to use them is to put them behind a shield wall, and when an enemy unit is about to attack, then send them forward. Potentially. Or if the enemy missile units have been occupied, you can attack the flanks or rear. As long as they don't get attacked themselves, they'll be okay. So here's our King Barder in Vasafjord. Still, he hasn't completely retrained his army. This is Eilek, that's one of the Irish factions.
Well
And
met,
Mid
Let's
are
talk.
allies with Osraig, unfortunately. So we have to warm up to them. So another gift offer now is more expensive, 322 gold this time.
Your generosity is appreciated.
Okay, that's nice to hear. And we can try declaration of friendship. That's sufficient. That's very nice. So we are friends now. And they've started turning green. They're slightly greenish. Kind of yellow-green. If we can make them abandon Osraig, then, break their pacts with Osraig, then we can attack Osraig and take Vedrefjord and that other harbor. So here is Sigfroder. That Osraig army is very annoying. They only have a very small garrison, and no doubt Vedrefjord is almost empty. So we could easily take it, but we'll end up being at war, and Mid could come to the aid of Osraig. So, over to the spring of 885, the turns go by quick. Fishing wharf and cattle pens have been completed. And Holmkel has gained a trait. He As a farmer ancillary, he's the governor of Weisafjord. So we gave him a scribe. In this complex world, Vikings need scribes to write stuff in Latin. So here's Vedrafjord. You can see they are now a vassal kingdom of ours. That's because of that event, you may remember, that came up earlier.
You can rely on us.
That's good to hear. Zigfroder. Okay, perhaps you can get another one. These units here, this Eastman Axeman. And okay, long axes. There's nothing better at the moment. Okay, and some Eastman warband, this like a spearman. And another axe unit, so hopefully this will help.
March on. Enemy blood.
So he's got now 10 units, that's a reasonable army. So I'm going to keep him around here, just in case Mid decides to attack us, if we decide to take on or strike. And this general here, Ivar, will be in a striking distance, within striking distance of that settlement. Kel Caning. Here's our king. He's getting a little bit old, 48 years old. His beard starts turning grey. I'm a little bit undecided about what to do at this point. I would really like to strike that faction next to us and take back those 2 coastal settlements. But I'm worried about Mid going to war against us because they're allies. It will flow. Yes, yes. So our king is now within striking distance of Vedrafjord. Vedrafjord have an army hanging about here. They're still alive. We want to keep them alive. They are our vassals. They have a decent army considering they only have 1 settlement left to them. So the other factions down south seem in a good mood. They haven't gone to war against us or anything like that. They are probably not attacking Vedrafjord because now it's a vassal of ours and we're strong. So back to the diplomacy. Ilek, here's a diplomatic status. We have no allies except a vassal Vedrafjord. I'm so torn about, with indecision about what to do with this faction next to us. This army is still at half strength, but at least it looks like it's been brought up to strength reasonably quickly up there at Mass. War favor is at 0. Could have been worse. It seems that war favor goes up when you do something and then passively decays from then on. Unless you keep doing things, like maybe if you keep defeating and conquering enemy armies, but we may also lose settlements if we attack or strike. So that was the end of that turn. We're moving over to the Summer of 885. Zigfroder is also now open-minded. He's heroic. Gained from the garrison building chain. And Olafur is now an issue. What's wrong with Olaf? We have no estates to give anybody except that place, not scary. So Olaf is down there. He is 16 years old. That's the problem. He's a teenager. He's rebellious. A girlfriend might help. Or we can bribe him somehow, pay the bribe. Bribe with words. Yeah, that'll do. He's happy now. He's been bribed with words. You're a good kid. Go play with some girls.
We serve to the end.
That's good to hear.
Move up. My warriors are ready. We pledge your service.
Okay, so I'm really torn about attacking the faction next to us. I really want to avoid at this point of war with Mid. They have a strong army and they could just occupy our provinces. And we have two settlements up there in the north that are very exposed, food settlements. So we have here another enemy army. This is a Vasafjord army. They're coming our way. So that's a little bit worrying. So I'm going to send our king back to Vasafjord. This is like playing a kind of game of chess with the AI here. You know, like in game of chess, you keep doing one move, the opponent does another. So you go back, the opponent goes back. You go forward, the opponent goes forward. It's a little bit like that.
I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Okay, Mid, let's try and warm up a little bit. So we're defensive allies now with Mid. And we lost a lot of tribute through our actions with Mid. People think we've just become soft or something because we're treating with them. We should be invading them. So they're giving us, nobody's giving us tribute. I think in fact Mid was giving us tribute, so they're not going to. So let's upgrade a couple of units here because we have the money.
We'll see this through.
And these units are still been brought up to full strength. It's taken a long time. And that was the end of this episode. Thank you for watching.